Today we have the lunch pickup, but first let's make some spaghetti sauce. I have to fix my hair in the meantime before we leave. We need some Roma tomatoes. Luckily, my table is still full of tomatoes. And since we're busy, we're making it in the oven, so go ahead and get the salsa sheet pan that we've been using. Now it's our spaghetti sheet pan. So we are going to start by cutting up our tomatoes. It says to use Roma tomatoes, but we're just using all of the tomatoes that we have. Or the extra ones at least. I'm glad for the sheet pan ideas. I'm not very attentive some days, and it just is good to just throw something in the oven and kind of forget about it until your timer screams at you. section out. So we are just going to peel off, and inside is the garlic, and that's the part we want. So we are just going to crush it and throw it on the pan. It's just as easy as that. But also, if you're intimidated by knives and, you know, smacking your hand down on one, garlic works fine too. And these can go in our veggie scrap bag that's in the freezer if you want. You can also throw it in your compost bin, or if you don't have either of those, the trash works fine too. Now that our hands will forever smell like garlic, we are going to also add the scent of onions to that. I think that I will just add, I don't know, should I add half or the full? We'll add the full onion, it's not very big. However you like your spaghetti sauce, do that. Now I'm just rough chopping these into chunks just to throw them on the pan. Because remember, this is going to be sauce, so we are going to blend this when it gets out of the oven. Now it is resembling our salsa recipe a whole lot. 1 second and I'll show you the difference. So the difference is the seasonings. So we are going to use some basil, Italian seasoning, oregano, garlic and onion powder. I know that we added garlic and onion to our pan already, but I feel like that the powder adds a little something different. That's just our preference. So we are going to just sprinkle this however you see fit. Funny thing about it is I have fresh basil leaves out in the garden. Like I said, it's hot. I'm not going out there right now. But yeah, we're just going to sprinkle this. It also said rosemary. I'm looking for my fresh rosemary. If not, it's okay. No big deal. I don't do measurements a lot, but I would say a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and then depending on your preference, a teaspoon-ish of everything else. Your Italian seasoning is going to have your more oregano, thyme, rosemary, savory, basil, sage, and marjoram. So this kind of has everything, and then we can just add more as our preference sees fit. But my oven is preheated to 400 degrees, so we're going to pop this in the oven uncovered so it can get all that broken down. I would say for about 25 minutes to start, and then you can go from there. Now if you're like me, you're going to race that 25-minute timer to see how much you can fit into that 25 minutes so it doesn't feel like wasted time. I don't know how I do this all the time, but I always forget salt and pepper. So I'm using the Celtic salt. It's chunkier. I feel like it gives a better salt flavor. I really like to cook with it just because it is more salty. And then cracked black pepper. You could use ground pepper. You can, I don't know, maybe use pepper flakes if you like that. But anyway, this is going back in the oven. Okay, our 25 minutes is up. I checked on my tomatoes. They still needed a little bit more, but I have to leave now. So I turned off my oven, and I'm just going to keep those tomatoes in there. It's going to just do its thing. The oven's going to cool down, and the tomatoes will be fine. But yeah, I will finish this up when I get back. Okay, now that pickup is done, couple side quests are completed, and I remembered that I was actually doing something. We are going to put all of the tomatoes into our food processor, and then we're going to blend it up. The great thing about this food processor is we got it actually at like a market type deal at the library. I think that Aaron bartered for like 2 loaves of bread for this food processor, so it's a great deal. We've used it a lot. But yeah, so I put all of the tomatoes and everything and the juice in the food processor, and we're just going to blend it until it's not chunky. So this is what we have. Now this is more liquidy than kind of a store-bought would be. That's fine with us because we prefer our sauce more liquidy. That way it can soak into everything. So this perfectly works for us. I am going to can this. I'm going to water bath can it for about 20 minutes or so. This would be considered a Rebel canning method. So if you do not want a Rebel canning method, go find one. That sounds bad. But no, I don't have one on hand that I've used. So I am going to do that. I feel safe with that. Now, if you do have a approved canning method of that recipe, let me know in the comments. I would love to have one just on hand. I do have a ball book that I could consult, but today I just didn't have time to do that. It was a throw it in the oven kind of day. So if you have tried this, or if you do try it, let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'll talk to you later.